28 loan draws, nearly $67 million. One request every 2 weeks for over a year. And one signature on all of them. That wasn't the CEO's. That's not me talking. That's what the court-appointed receiver alleges in a July 2026 filing in federal court. Everybody is rushing to tell you Uncle Nearest is another black-owned business that couldn't handle success, poor management, grew too fast, bit off more than they could chew. That's the easy story. But if you actually read the court filings, a very different picture starts to emerge. One about alleged fraud, alleged oversight failures, and financial incentives that may have let both continue for over a year. Before I decode this for you, one thing up front. Everything I'm about to describe comes from a counterclaim filed by court-appointed receiver Philip G. Young Jr. on July 7, 2026. The claims about former Chief Financial Officer Michael Senzaki come from interviews investigators hired by Uncle Nearest say he gave them. Senzaki has not responded to those allegations in the court record. No criminal charges have been filed. Farm Credit is expected to contest the counterclaim forcefully. This is what the filing says. And here's a fact the coverage mostly skipped that cuts the other way. On May 26, 2026, in a separate order, Judge Ashley found Fawn Weaver not credible as a witness. A fair decode holds both of those things at once. Uncle Nearest is the fastest-growing independent whiskey brand in America, founded by Fawn and Keith Weaver in 2016 to honor Nathan Nearest Green, the enslaved black man who taught Jack Daniel how to distill whiskey. The brand became a cultural phenomenon. Then last summer, Kentucky-based Farm Credit Mid-America sued Uncle Nearest, alleging the company had defaulted on loans worth more than $108 million. By August, a federal judge had appointed a receiver and effectively removed the Weavers from running the company they'd built, and the headlines wrote themselves. Uncle Nearest collapses, founders ousted, another black business failure. But on July 7th, the receiver filed a counterclaim, and the story he tells is not the story you were handed. According to the receiver, former CFO Michael Senzaki had nearly exclusive control over Uncle Nearest's financial reporting, loan compliance, and communications with the lender, from the company's early days until October 2024. The filing alleges he admitted to investigators that starting in 2022, he falsified monthly financial reports. He inflated the whiskey barrel inventory to unlock bigger credit lines. He placed Fawn Weaver's signature on documents without her knowledge or consent. He fabricated board minutes showing the Weavers had approved loans they hadn't, and he diverted equity interests belonging to Fawn Weaver. And, the filing says, he used misappropriated funds to buy a Las Vegas home, buy vehicles, and gamble. Then there's the number that stopped me cold. The financial reports Senzaki prepared showed about $345,000 in unpaid bills. After he left in October 2024, and the receiver came in to look at the actual books, the real figure was more than $10 million. $345,000 on paper, $10 million in reality. If those allegations hold up in court, that's not a company that failed. That's a company that was allegedly hollowed out from the inside. Here's where the receiver turns the case on Farm Credit itself. Between July 2022 and August 2023, the filing says Farm Credit approved 28 separate draw requests on Uncle Nearest's revolving credit line, one every 2 weeks, nearly $5 million a month. All 28, signed by Senzaki alone. Fawn Weaver, the CEO, the majority shareholder, the sole authorized signatory for major changes to that loan facility, never signed one of them. The receiver alleges Farm Credit never once picked up the phone to confirm with her, not once in 13 months. And while all this was happening, the filing says Farm Credit collected around $400,000 in amendment and origination fees, as the credit line expanded from $35 million to nearly $67 million. The counterclaim puts it bluntly: the more Senzaki borrowed, the more Farm Credit earned. Now, the receiver isn't trying to erase the debt. The filing openly admits the company defaulted. That's not in dispute. What the receiver is asking is, how did it get this bad? Because the filing lists specific red flags. Farm Credit is alleged to have overlooked one person signing every single drawdown request, the same person preparing the financial reports being submitted. Draws happening at nearly $5 million a month. No direct communication with the CEO or majority shareholder, and inventory-based collateral values never independently verified against physical counts. The receiver argues one phone call, one email to Fawn Weaver at any point in those 13 months might have exposed the whole thing. Now let me decode why this story matters, beyond Uncle Nearest. Go look at the headlines from the last 12 months. Count how many led with Uncle Nearest collapses, or founders ousted, or some version of another black business couldn't scale. Now count how many led with CFO alleged to have forged CEO's signature on 28 loan draws, or lender alleged to have collected $400,000 in fees while ignoring red flags. I'll wait. This is the pattern. When a black business struggles, the collapse becomes the story. The black founders become the story. When there's alleged fraud from inside or alleged negligence from powerful institutions outside, that part rarely leads the coverage. It shows up in paragraph 9, if it shows up at all. And the receipt on why that matters is this. The receiver's counterclaim was public, filed in federal court, available to any reporter with an internet connection. The allegations about the forged signatures, the fabricated board minutes, the $345,000 that turned into $10 million, none of it was hidden. And still, most of the public was told the same simple story. Black founders, failed company, end scene. That's not journalism. That's a template. I want to be clear. Nothing I've said today is a verdict. That's what the courts are for. The allegations against Senzaki and Farm Credit have to be proven. Both sides get their day in court. But whether or not every allegation holds up, the framing lesson is already on the table. If the receiver's account proves accurate, then Uncle Nearest isn't a story about a black business that failed. It's a story about a black-owned company that may have been undermined from within, while the warning signs sat in plain view of the people paid to catch them. And it's a story about how quickly the public was handed the wrong headline. Follow the case, read the filings yourself if you can, and drop a comment. What's another story where the failure got the headline, but the real cause never did? I'm Malik. This is Cypher with Malik, where we decode history, power, and the stories hiding behind the headlines. Know your history, because they're still writing it right now.